the diagnostic manual textbook as well as the clinical manual. Now that the DSM-V is expected to come out in April of 2013, we're in the initial process of developing our diagnostic work groups to begin in earnest to work on the DMID 2 that will correspond to the DSM-V. We don't know exactly what that will look like, but we will modify the DMID in accordance to the diagnostic categories of the DSM-V, and then we'll look at how we can make a more accurate psychiatric diagnosis for people with an intellectual disability based on the DSM-V diagnostic categories, but arriving at those diagnoses in much differently than the DSM system and more in line with the existing DMID, which relies a great deal on observation rather than self-report. When they come out with the DSM in April 2013, I think there'll be substantial changes in many of the diagnostic criteria and many of the diagnoses themselves on how they defined the diagnosis. Even the diagnosis of intellectual disorder is what they're likely called, which now they refer to as mental retardation, will be different. It's likely going to be called intellectual developmental disorder, and not intellectual disability. And the rationale for that is essentially twofold. One is that they would like to have it in line with the ICD-10, which will use the term disorder rather than disability. And also they consider all the diagnostic categories in their manual, in the DSM manual, to be disorders. So to be consistent with the terminology of all their other disorders, they want to use the word disorder. I'm not in favor of using the word disorder. I understand and appreciate why they want to do it. I understand their rationale. But in the United States, for example, we have moved towards changing our state government language and our federal government language and put it into legislation to delete the term mental retardation and replace that with intellectual disability. So we would prefer to keep it consistent with the terminology we use in the United States. They would like to keep it consistent with the ICD. So we'll see how that comes out. Well, the one difference in the proposal for the category of intellectual developmental disorder is that they will eliminate the terminology onset before age 18, and they use the phraseology during the developmental period, which I think leaves room for a great deal of ambiguity as what is the developmental period. Well, I think we should all take a look at the DSM-V when it comes out in April 2013. And stay tuned with NADD through our website around the development of our DMID 2.